Okay, so I almost got scammed this week, I guess. And it's the second time it's happened. These scammers are getting very believable and they're overcoming some of the obstacles that they were encountering before. So let me tell you about it. I got an email off of Zillow, which I do not pay for Zillow leads or anything like that. So to get a lead off of it is kind of an anomaly anyway, but whatever. Um, and it was for a waterfront property in Kittery that the person wanted to list. When I went and looked at the tax card, the email address matched the name on the tax card, so that made sense. But still, it seemed a little far-fetched that somebody that owned this property would go on Zillow to find a random real estate agent to hire. So my spidey sense kicked in, and I sent them an email, and I was just like, "Hey, when's a good time to stop by?" There was no phone number associated with it. When's a good time to stop by? Happy to come out. Blah blah blah. And they were like, "Oh, I'm not in the area." And this is one of the tip offs that this is a scam, that they can't meet you. And the market is so dry right now that agents, even experienced agents, are falling for this. I've heard stories about people that have listed property and closed on it and it was a scam. So this stuff happens. It is absolutely real. And they're targeting, desperate people do desperate things. So sometimes agents do not do their due diligence because they want a multi-million-dollar waterfront listing in Kittery. Anyway, so they couldn't meet, and I was like, that's fine. I'm familiar with the property. Let's do a phone call, and then I can set up a time to meet the caretaker, because this property definitely had a caretaker. Now, this property is in a trust. It hasn't been exchanged outside of that trust in like 50 something years. So those are also things that are tip offs. The person was like, great, let's do a phone call. Here's my number. I took that number, I ran it through a program that real estate agents have called Forewarn. If you're an agent and you're not using Forewarn, you need to start using it. So Forewarn told me that that number was actually like a burner number. There was nothing associated with it. So then I went into Forewarn and I looked up the actual owner and actually left them a voicemail. They live in another state. So here's how to identify a scam. If the property is in a trust, the person lives out of state, it's a vacant piece of land, any of the above, and they randomly email you that they want to list their property, come on, that's a red flag. The other thing is that if they want to list it at a considerably low price, that's another thing. Like, oh yeah, we just want to get rid of it. It's a $2 million property. They want to list it at $1 million, that kind of thing. Huge red flag. Not being able to meet. So one of the things that agents started doing, I know I started doing this, was saying, send me a copy of your driver's license. But these scammers are now making fake driver's licenses, so that's not that good of a thing. Obviously, a phone call is a good way to do it, but you really have to be protective of yourself. So I had emailed this guy back, and I said, your phone number doesn't match the number that I have for you. I looked it up. I gave you a call. Call me from that number. And that's where it ended, because it's not a real, multi-million-dollar listing in Kittery, unfortunately for me. But it just goes to show, like, these guys are really slick. And honestly, I think that there was an agent recently that wrote an offer on one of my properties, and I think the offer is from somebody who is scamming, and I'm not sure. We did not accept that offer. It just seemed it was so weird. And it's one of these, there are certain agencies out there where they just get their leads from somebody randomly going onto a website and requesting a showing, and it was one of these agents. So I feel like we're going to see that coming up too, and I'm not sure how that one's going to work, but hopefully we don't get caught up in it. If you've got questions about anything, or if you see something that seems too good to be true in this market, I guarantee you it is. There are no great deals going on right now, and listings are so few and far between that agents, you really have to be careful. You guys have a great day. Oh, I don't know how to end.